At the start of this video, I would like to give a quick content warning. This is going to be an extremely pessimistic, nihilist sort of video, so if you ever feel you are not in a situation to hear that sort of content, I would very much suggest clicking off the video now. But, for everybody who is going to stick around, I know everybody has thought of this to some extent, because it's a very human thing to do. But when you look at the world around us, all the progress that's been made, all the things that have been done, and how amazing these are, it's kind of hard to see where you, as an individual, really fits into it. Because, you know, everybody has their own little niche in the world. And that becomes pretty apparent pretty early in life, but I feel like finding your own niche can be the problem. And not only finding your own niche, but also then staying motivated to stay in that niche. So basically, I come from a long line of creative people. My mother's a dancer, my grandmother's really into jewelry and clothing. My great-grandfather was one of the best jazz players in our general area. And you know, these are all extremely impressive people. And I still fit into that extremely creatively motivated. I'm extremely creative writing. That's my favorite thing to do. But sometimes, I just sort of sit there whenever I'm writing. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why do I take the time to type out these words on a screen? Even though, whenever I die, however many years from now, there is a good chance nobody will ever read it. And you know, I think it kind of strikes home with some people, but there's really no solution to that problem. We live, we work, we spin the cogs of our own machine, and then we die. And that's sort of the mindset I've been trapping myself in, and I know many others get themselves into. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but like, there are different ways to think about it that aren't so pessimistic. Okay, but first off, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, essentially, and you'll probably get it later in life, is that you sort of feel worthless. You feel like you're pushing something forward that won't even matter come 10 years or longer from now. Because if you look in the history books, if you look at the general world, you'll see that not many people get remembered as much as somebody would want to. There are very few people whose stories get told. And all of those people who you hear about in history class or you learn about later in life, well, most of them probably aren't even that old. They haven't probably been dead for that long. If we know their complete story, of course, there are people who we're a little foggy on, and that feels almost more right in a sense, but that's an opinion of mine. But you know, and it's just sort of hard, because I know personally, recently, I've had a real struggle with mental health, just sort of discovering, why should I continue? Why should I keep recording these videos for 70 people to click on and 3 people to watch? You know, and I can't offer any sort of solution to this, but it's just hard to look at in a way that justifies these sort of things. Does carpet? No, it does not. But yeah, so, and this is less of a how to fix, it's just sort of a thing where it's okay to have these feelings, and I feel like as a society, we tend to take away from that. It is okay to be a little nihilist sometime, a little pessimistic about things. But ultimately, you can't really let that mindset plague you. Because sure, what is the point? But if there is no point, what is stopping you from doing what you truly want to do? And that's a more positive take on this. Of course, you could spin it any way you wanted, like, what's the point of going, you know? But honestly, it's just more of a, if it's not going to matter come 20 years from now, it shouldn't feel like it matters now. Live life in the moment and stop making it such a big deal. Like, it's not gonna matter. Most likely. You might end up extremely successful, and this might be wrong for 1% of people, and if you're in that 1%, good for you. But in the end, the last time the average person is talked about or thought about is after 2 generations die after them. I've just made that up on the spot, but that sounds right. But that's sort of a little depressing to think about, that people, like these whole communities, have just been completely forgotten, lost to time. And I feel like that's one of the most basic human struggles I have seen and experienced. Is the need to live on after death. Some sort of, not afterlife, but prolonged existence through stories, through tall tales, or just a list of your achievements, a biography, an autobiography, a story, a movie, whatever it may be. We as humans crave that remembrance. Because it's not death we're afraid of. We're afraid of being forgotten. We're afraid of not impacting what we tried so hard to impact. We're afraid of being obsolete. So, if you have any of these thoughts, I just want to let you know it's okay, it's normal. And you can try doing things that may get you remembered past a certain point. I'm making these YouTube videos so that someday there will be some sort of record that I was alive and I played some Minecraft. I'm writing a book, so then there's record that I had stories to tell. I'm talking into this microphone, talking to this audience, showing I have advice I want to give. Humanity is such a plague that we sort of forget that we're human. It's okay for these feelings, these sudden thoughts that are considered taboo or some sign of bad mental health. But realistically, everybody goes through some form of this. And if you've ever watched the musical Alexander Hamilton, the whole musical is about Hamilton making it so he would be remembered. It's the most simple part of the human experience, but there are very little documentations of people talking about it. This is what should be talked about, because social anxiety, depression, all of those are still very real problems, but this is worse. It's a problem nobody wants to talk about. It's a silent killer. Just as anxiety, depression, stress, all of those things used to be. But again, if it doesn't matter, then why end it early? Like, this is very much a you shouldn't kill yourself sort of thing. Because instead of taking it as nothing matters, it doesn't matter if I keep living, it should always be more of a nothing matters, so I should live life the way I want to. And I get it. In a certain sense, that's not entirely possible. There are so many restrictions put on us by our society, by the world, that we have to do these handful of things to be able to keep our spot in our society and enjoy these luxuries that we have of not, well, being safe relatively. I mean, in some countries, medical care, but I live in America, so we don't get that. But you know, it's this, and it is. It's considered a lot worse by society than I think personally it actually is. Because the beast is only as scary as you make it in this situation particularly. Because this is a common thought, it shouldn't be so, neglected. It shouldn't be on the dark side of the internet where you're probably finding this video. These sort of things need to be talked about. This should be up there with the stress, anxiety, depression, and just being pessimistic is very much so, at least for me, a part of life. Because not everything is going to go well. It's just not. But, you sort of can't really think about it too much. But yeah, so that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you guys for tuning into the third video of the day. That's a lot. And hopefully, if you see right here the world name, talking about Minecraft here for a second, we're done with all the heavy stuff. This will hopefully be a world that I get to keep. I've been trying to buckle down really to one world and one world only, and I decided today this is gonna be that world. So it might just sit in the back corner of my worlds files for a while I work on the SMP and actual videos for it. But this will be like where I come to play whenever I do these sort of like just ramblings to the internet, So if you enjoy content like this is basically all I make right now. I'm trying to make myself make other things, but I'm really struggling with it. So right now, all I'm making is these like commentaries, sort of just talking about things that happen in the world. So yeah, like, subscribe, come back to this channel if those are things you like to hear about. And again, like all my other videos, this is to start a discussion. Not just to say it happens. Not just to say, oh, pay attention to this. It's for other people to really start talking about, why do we feel like this? How can we stop feeling like this? And these are just all things that, and part of it is personal. I've been told by my mother and other people how to get out of it, and none of those methods have necessarily worked for me. So it's very much a personal journey, this sort of feeling. But, again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which might be just another 4th video today. We'll see. Bye.